Okay. Hello, everyone. All right. So, hello, everyone. Welcome back. And I am glad to see everyone again today. The weeks have been going by us pretty fast. I know we just was mentioning that, and we're coming to a closing with our group sessions. So, this week we are in week 7, and we are discussing promoting resilience and creating an anxiety management plan. So before I get started, I just wanted to jump in with a quick check-in and see how everybody's week has been going. How's everybody doing? If anybody would like to share anything from last week, how their week has been so far, so good.
I can go
No?
if nobody goes. So mine has been pretty. I'm on call at work, so mine's been pretty hectic, especially trying to juggle the classes and then juggle like my job and everybody pulling me in different directions. So yeah, it's been going. So there goes my little update.
Well, I'm
Um,
just gonna say, uh, my week has been a week. I don't know. I think my emotions have been up and down, up and down. And so I've been having a couple of, I'm in my era of mood swings week, I would say. So it's just been something trying to handle the emotional part of things as well as keeping my OCD under control because I'm having to do so much. So I'm trying to just keep everything intact so nothing gets out of hand. So that's been just the gist of my week.
my week's been good. We're traveling a lot coming to the end of our season, so it's been very hectic with getting making sure my kids are straight and everything at home is taken care of. So kind of at the end of the week, it's kind of a lot for me. As far as the things I need to get done, making sure they're done, and then also too having classes and making sure I'm able to complete what I need to complete. As far as like the week itself going, it's been good until today. Today has been a really rough day, but making it through.
That's good. I'm sorry that you had a rough day today, but overall, it's good that you know you're making it through. That's the most important thing as well. Okay. Well, I'm going to move right along. So, I wanted to do a brief review of confidentiality before we continue. I want to take the moment to review confidentiality. What is shared in this group stays in this group. This helps create a safe and trusting space for everyone to be open and honest. That said, please remember that while we are, as leaders, are required to maintain confidentiality, we cannot guarantee that all group members will do the same. So be mindful of what you choose to share, but the only exceptions to confidentiality is if someone is at risk of harm to themselves or others, or in case of abuse, we are required to report and to keep everyone safe. But as far as that, I think we've been doing a great job with this group. So overall, it was just a review. But does anyone have any questions regarding the confidentiality review? Okay. All right. So I just wanted to also do a follow up of last week. I know last week we focused on social skills and communication to reduce anxiety. We talked about what worked well, what felt challenging, and was everyone able to, and was anyone able to use any of the tips for effective communication from last week throughout the week of the last week's homework? Does anybody want to share any tips that they were able to use with any situations that came up where they had to apply the social skills that we discussed last week?
I can
I think
go.
for oh,
Oh, go ahead, Jasmine.
Oh, okay. For me, I definitely use pause before responding quite a bit. Just there are some situations that had came up, and I'm like, if I respond right now in this moment, it's probably not going to be exactly what I want to say. It'll be what I mean, but it's not how I want it to be delivered. So I definitely did that, and I definitely used like the I statements when expressing um, how I felt. So those are the two that I really used this week.
That's good.
I
Um, I sorry, Ainsley. I'll be quick. I was in a lot of social settings this last week, so I feel like I was able to attempt to really, focus on my verbal and nonverbal communication that I had, kind of addressed last week. So, but also trying to get out of my head too at the same time, which was kind of a juggling act. But I think just being even more aware of it helped me in and of itself. So
I like that you said just being a little bit more aware. That seems to be very hard to do, especially when you just got a lot going on and you're trying to make yourself aware of what skills to use at the time that you need to use them.
I'll go next. Um, I too, like Jasmine, used I statements when having a conversation with my fiance. I'm like, when you do this, I feel, and I didn't think I had to spell it out after having one conversation more than once, but apparently I did. So that was very helpful. And even like the pausing, but yeah, definitely the like spelling it out feeling was very helpful.
So I just have a question. When you guys use the I statements, how did that make you feel? Like, did you feel a difference in the feeling of your anxiety during that time of saying, okay, did it help you to kind of keep a calm demeanor in reference to how you were able to express yourself to the other person?
For me, I tried to stay calm, but it was like, when you get to that breaking point, it's like, you know what? I've had it. Like at
Yeah.
this moment, I'm feeling frustrated. You're not listening to me. So
Uh-huh.
it's like, I used it when I was already at my boiling point, I'd say.
Mhm. Okay, that's a
Absolutely.
difference. That's a difference. I always wonder about that. Like, how does it make you feel when you use, that's one that I have a problem with trying to use. I try to say I feel, and then it comes out still with the finger pointed at the other person. So it doesn't really go well because it's like I just defeated the whole purpose of I because I now got right back to that pointing that finger. So yeah, it's so hard. It's just really hard. I was just wondering if it was just me that had a hard time with that.
So for me, I just said the first step is saying I. I said I, so the next time I'm gonna try and make it to where it's just me and not pointing fingers.
So you were able to get out the first one. That's the first step of I. But the rest is like, so that's something to work on then. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay. Did anybody else want to share?
For me, I'm sorry. For me, this week I worked on my nonverbal cues or communication. That whole face expression, the turned up lip, the big eye. I had to work on that a lot this week, and because I noticed I do that a lot to my children. They go to eyes. I do it a lot to my kids, and yeah. So I had to hold myself accountable and kind of work on that this week.
Did your kids noticed like a difference?
My 8-year-old son, because he's the one that's always in my face. Um, he's the only one that truly noticed. My oldest daughter today did. I was going to say something that I didn't need to say, but I held it in. But my face expression, and I, in a sense, I was talking to myself. I was like, control the face, control the face. And she said, look at you trying to work on your nonverbal cues. So I said, yes, ma'am, I am.
Oh,
So, but yeah, her and my 8-year-old noticed it. So it was pretty
that's
cool.
that's good. That's
But it was
good.
hard. It was hard to not
Yeah.
do my norm. So it was
Mm-hmm.
hard.
That's good. Okay. So I'm going to move into today's topic. Today we're building on those skills by focusing on resilience. So the skills that we learned last week, we're going to build on those with the focus of resilience of this week and your ability to bounce back from stress and creating your own personal anxiety management plan that you can actually use in real life.
Okay. I'm Ainsley and I'm the will be co-leading today.
Sorry.
No worries. And I'm gonna go over just some more psychoeducation, and I'm gonna go over just kind of introduction to resilience and kind of what it is. So, resilience is the ability to adapt, recover, and grow stronger when facing stress, adversity, or anxiety. It doesn't mean that you're not going to feel anxious. It just means that you have the tools to handle it. So, there's some key points of resilience that I'm going to share, and that is resilience is learned and strengthened over time. It includes emotional, mental, social, if applicable, obviously, spiritual strength. It also helps reduce the intensity and duration of anxiety. So, now I'm going to ask you guys um, just how you guys have handled different stressful situations, because I know we all have had those situations, right? So, what do you think helps you bounce back after a stressful situation?
I'll share. Funny enough, just today, this very stressful day, um, my daughter had her field trip at school, and I chaperoned, and I brought my baby too. So there was just a lot of like moving parts to that. There was just it's very stressful day 'cause she's in pre-K, like she's little. So it was just like I had a lot of stress about today. And funny enough, like being able to like talk to y'all was helpful. I'm like, oh, I get to like kind of step out of that and like meet with another group of women, like having people to talk to kind of decompress. Is really helpful. So it kind of worked out that we're here today.
Oh, that's
That's
good.
that's really good. I like that. I
I
just
felt
wanted.
similar. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead,
You
Ansley.
go.
Go ahead.
Oh, I would say I actually felt similar too. It's funny that I feel like some of us have talked about having like a bad week, stressful day. Um, I did too, and I was like, I can't wait to tell them tonight too. So I get that too.
Well, that's awesome. Um, I know for me this week, it has been my youngest granddaughter. Um, she doesn't live here. She's in Michigan, but I just had, the other ones just came, the older ones, but I don't know. When I'm having a total bad day, she just turned 3. So her trying to learn how to talk and text and all of that is super funny to me. But when she calls me and I'm having a day, it just brightens up my whole day. Like it takes every stressful situation totally away from me and I just melt and light up. So it's her for me. So she calls and I know that's not always a good thing, but it is a good thing because she may not call all the time, and I may be upset at another time. So I got to learn another skill to use in the moment. But that's just I think this week is it was good for me for her. She called and it really helped me. Each time it was almost like God knew what I needed for her to call, and it was just so helpful.
Aw.
I would say for me, I lean on my mom, my sister, and my husband. So whenever I'm having that stressful week, I decompress by letting it out to them. And then they'll let me know, like, okay, you're doing a little much. Or it's like, okay, but how are you going to bounce back from it? So that's kind of what I do.
I guess I'll go. Mine is more of a social gathering. Like, you know that thing when they say the friends that don't drain your social battery. So I have three of those, and one actually lives pretty close to me, but my kid and her kid they say they're cousins at this point. But yeah, we've been doing a lot more play dates, especially because we use that excuse for our play dates. So that's been that. And then of course like this group too, and it's crazy, Amber, because my kid had her field trip today too, but when she found out it was outside, she didn't want to go. She was like, "Oh no, I don't want to go." I was like, "Okay." Well,
Was it at the Houston Zoo by chance?
no, it was actually
Okay.
at Blessington Farms. So
Oh, I love that place.
yeah, and I wanted to go, but she was like, "No," and the love bugs, she calls them lala bugs. I don't know why, but she was like, "No, there's a lot of lala bugs, and I don't want to be outside." I was like, "Okay, well,
Oh
do you want
yeah.
to?" And she said she answered yes to that. So
Hey, that's good, Alina, that you have someone that you can actually go out and enjoy a play date with is it your daughter or your son? Your daughter?
yeah, so we both have so it's a group of four, and two of them are sisters, and they both have sons. And then me and the other one, we have daughters, but they're like, I want to say like a year apart. So yeah, it kind of helps out.
Yeah, that's super cool. I mean, I could just picture that. That's, when you said it, it was like I could picture it and picture how stress relieving it is to just be able to go and woosah with someone, a friend, and watch your daughter at the same time, have fun with someone else. Yeah, that's I could see that being a stress reliever as well.
Especially when it's moms. I don't know, it's something about moms that we're all like, we see each other and it's funny. It's not funny when we're by ourselves, but it's funny when we see each other. We're like, yeah, we're going through it, but you know, it become jokes.
Yep. That's totally understandable.
So I'm gonna go next. For me, it's my husband. Whatever I'm going through, I look for that man for direction. For it, when I say sometimes I ask him, "Do I get on your nerves?" But when I'm up here, it's like he the yin to the yang. He know how to bring, and I'm not easy to deal with. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That man can bring me just like this. Simple words. Woman, everything gonna be okay. Are you okay? What's on your mind? Tell me what you're thinking and stuff like that. So yeah, for me, it's my husband for now.
I can relate to that, Taisha. I feel like my husband is he lets me vent. He is the most even-keeled person I've ever met in my life. Like in any situation, he is the most happiest person, happy-go-lucky all the time. He doesn't even know what anxiety feels like. And so I could go to him and just lay it all on him. And yeah, he's great at listening and just like helping me to feel a little bit of that relief, I guess.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going about the psychoeducation unless anybody else had anything else to share. Okay. So let's look at resilience like in real life, right? Because not again, it's not a concept, it's something we learn, right? So there's a few different areas. So there's emotional awareness, pausing instead of reacting. We'll use coping skills in the moment. We'll frame thoughts. We'll reach out for support. If we'll do spiritual, faith-based coping and we'll problem solve, and we'll be self-compassionate to ourselves, right? So let's look at a few different examples of how does resilience really work in real life? And let's pick emotional awareness. So it's noticing hey, I notice I'm overwhelmed right now. I notice I'm upset. And I'm, acknowledging that instead of just ignoring or suppressing these feelings, right? Then we'll do another one. We can do a reframing of the thoughts. So instead of I'm going to fail if I do this, right? No one's gonna like me if I do this. Someone's gonna be mad at me. We can shift to, maybe I'm feeling anxious right now. Like let's figure out why I feel that way. I can still try to do this. I'm strong. I can do things that are hard. I'm capable of doing these things. So kind of reframing that thought in that way. And I can go over them again if needed to kind of have a refresher of what resilience would look like more realistically. But I wanted to kind of leave the floor open to y'all to see if anything resonates with y'all. Like I can think of times in my life where before counseling, I was not super good at communicating sometimes and could be very emotional in my communication. Like I just start talking and acting based off the way I'm feeling right there in that moment. And I've really learned now to, build on my own strengths. And I went through hard things and I was able to have resilience through the hard things I went through and learn how to communicate better. And I can take a moment and be like, okay, I'm feeling anxious right now because of XYZ and of my past or whatever, but I'm not going to take it out on this person anymore. And I'm just going to take care of it myself and be strong in that moment, right? So that's kind of an example. So if anyone else has an example of times in their life where maybe they had something they struggled with and overcame it and were able to have more adversity, it doesn't have to be that deep or vulnerable. It could just be, this is how I responded better into conflict, whatever.
I just want to jump in. I actually had to learn the self-compassion one. That one resonates with me very, very well because for me, I was one that would beat myself up when I made a mistake because I am a perfectionist person. Like I just strive for perfection all the time. So when things are not right and it doesn't add up right, I'm kind of beating myself up about it. Um, just kind of telling myself, hey, just the critique of me, but not giving myself the grace and the compassion that I needed to give. I had to learn grace for me to give myself grace and tell myself the reframing thoughts of, well, you're human, you're going to make mistakes, and that's one thing we all have in common is making mistakes. So I had to learn to use the self-compassion when I'm still on a teeter-totter with that, but I think the spiritual faith-based coping has also been something that has helped me with giving myself grace and learning to be self-compassionate within myself.
That's good. I want to second that really quickly. I actually made a mistake at work today. We actually had a training. First of all, they got me doing two different systems for two different type of things. So they keep switching me every 2 weeks. And in one of my systems, it'll come up like fraud. Call these people. And I'm like, bet, I'll call them. In my other system, it's in like teeny tiny writing at the top. And I literally have had a migraine all day. But it wasn't that busy. So I'm thinking like, oh, this will, of course all of this happens. I'm like, the devil just be trying me. But anyways, I made a mistake and spoke to an owner, but he's incapacitated, missed the notes. Mind you, we had a training this morning. I just realized when I don't feel good, I need to go. I need to be in bed, laying down, taking an Advil and resting because when I don't feel good, like I'm just not really paying attention. But at first I was beating myself up and then I'm like, you know what? All I can say is sorry. I'll do better next time. But that self-compassion thing is real. Very true. Come on.
I actually had a mistake too, like not that long ago. I want to say like 2 days ago, 3 days. So we also work with the DA when they're trying to close the cases, and I guess they wanted to be the ones to deliver the news to one of my kids. But my kid is very how do I say it? Very like, you don't know what's gonna happen with her. Like it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, and she just gets dysregulated, and it's a wrap. So she was upset because me and one of the detectives on the case, we actually delivered the news together because she actually is like she trusts both of us. So she was a little calmer, but yeah, the DA was upset, and I was just like, oh well, I'm sorry, but I still think coming from us, I'm like, she's never talked to y'all, so but I know she was upset, and she let me know a few times, but I was like, well, I can't take it back. I can't take the information out of her brain. So it was it was a wrap.
And I can also see, Alina, how that could make you feel like, oh, you could have literally beat yourself up from just that. Like, oh, how did I make her mad? Trying to spiral and just figure out why she was mad. And I hope that she doesn't dislike me. It could have been all type of thought that led from that, but
Well,
instead you took yourself and you was like, oh well, if you can't take it back, there's no need of crying over spoiled milk, right? So that's just
well,
how I
no, and
look
then
at some things.
like back then, I probably would have been like, oh my god, I just burnt the bridge, or I just like, that's somebody that we work closely together. But I was just like, you know what, it just happened. I was like, I'm sorry. She was like, no. Towards the end, she was like, well, it's okay. But she kind of figured it out on her own of what I was saying because she ended up calling her and kind of confirmed what I was telling. She was like, "Yeah, she wasn't very forthcoming." I was like, "I know." I'm like, "She doesn't know you, so I mean." But
Yeah. Is there anyone else that would like to share one of the resilient skills that resonates?
I go the one that say you pause before you react. Um, in the past, when I get angry, I didn't know how to pause. I'm gonna be honest. Whatever come out my mouth, it's gonna come out. Whatever it lead to, whatever, I didn't care. So now it's just really working on that, like understanding that the world doesn't revolve around me and my reactions, and to every action there's a reaction that's come with consequences. So me being able to just pause sometime midsection, and my favorite line, especially with dealing with my immediate family, my household, they know when I'm trying to pause because mid conversation, I'll be like, I love you. And everybody in the house know at that point. Okay, mama trying to reset because something fits to come off. Some ain't fits to be right. So with that being said, that's my way. Pausing, but I pause with the word I love you. I walk away from it, think about what I'm fist to say, and then come back to it.
That also goes along with the reframing your thoughts too. Um, like you said, you were able to just stop and say I love you, instead of saying something else that you probably wanted to say. So you kind of had to reframe your thoughts at that moment, which is very good.
Okay. So I'm going to go into identifying some personal resilience factors that maybe, I mean, all of us have different strengths, right? And so I'm going to try and see if there's a way that we can all identify that within ourselves. So I'm going to share some examples of what coping with stress looks like, just, some examples. And I know we've already talked a little bit about it now, but just to see if, as I'm talking about this, if anything resonates within yourself. So an example is let's do social support, right? So talking through anxiety with someone or asking for help instead of handling everything alone, or even practicing the social skills we learned last week. And taking a break when needed, talking to ourselves kindly, reaching out to a friend, different things like that. And so I want to kind of focus in on anxiety because that is what this group is, meant for, right? So I'm going to ask you guys just another question here and just ask, how does your anxiety change when you feel supported versus alone?
For me, when I feel supported, I feel like my anxiety isn't as like forthcoming, like not in the front, like it's probably like in the back of my head rather than right there. And then when I'm alone, I feel like my anxiety is through the roof. But like I said earlier, I use the social support of talking it through with someone. I'm trying to work on asking for help, but I just know like sometimes when I ask for help, I want it done my way, so I'd rather just do it right instead of me being upset that it's not done how I want it to do it, how I wanted it to be done. So I'll just do it myself. But yeah.
I'm
I
like
can
the opposite. Jasmine, I'm like the opposite of that. I'm more calmer when I'm alone, and I think I get more anxiety when I'm around people. And I don't know why that is. It hasn't always been like that, but I think it's just because I know I can go in my space and not be distracted about anything because I'm by myself. That helps me stay calm. I know little things that I can do, like my breathing and all of that, to help me stay calm. But it's trusting people that may give me a little bit more anxiety because if I'm going through something, I have to be able to trust you enough to tell you what I'm going through and trust that you're not going to be going back telling blase split to this person and that person and that person. So it's hard for me to just talk to somebody when I'm going through something because I feel like I'm going to be judged somewhat and I don't like that. So I'm better by myself. Yeah.
I want to kind of piggyback on what you said with the people or like talking to people. Like for me, it's three people: my mom, my husband, and my sister. My sister, we tell each other everything, so I know if something comes out about what I'm mad about, or she says something to my husband or a family member that I like talk to her about. Not gonna lie, I have some ammo that I could use. So I feel like I use it in a sense is I gotta make sure that I got something just in case my stuff is, spilled out there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kamara. Like I feel like I do better when I call it my like cocoon mode, so to speak, or like I go into my hole. And like my friends kind of know that about me at this point where like sometimes I just need my recharge for a while. But I will say sometimes it can get, I don't want to say maladapted, but like heading that direction where I can like be too isolated to where I get like a little like blue and a little down. So I really have to kind of watch myself and almost force myself to get out of that cocoon mode and like, be vulnerable and trusting with some people as hard as it is. But yeah, I resonate with that.
I was gonna say
Um,
I relate to that. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh no, I was just gonna say that I relate to that. Like I think I get more anxiety when there's more people, and I don't know. There's something about energies and vibes that it's like if I'm already feeling heavy and somebody else, I'm like, oh, like I'm like, so I need to kind of restore and recharge, but I start finding myself very autopilot. So I either do that or again, like with my friends, I have different ones that I can go for different things, like or tell them different things, and they won't judge. But then there's other ones that I know that they'll get on me, so I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you yet. I was like, because I don't want to deal with you, so I'll tell the ones that I know are just gonna be like, oh okay, but be supportive. So
Okay. Well, that's. Go ahead, Taisha.
I'm a loner, so I do understand everybody that say they have to be in their own little space. For me, it's my own little bubble. But I want to say this, and this is off topic. Is I noticed that people that are servers that loves to help others are usually loners.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but every like 2 times a year, I always try, and I don't have friends, y'all. I got one friend, she live in Mississippi. That's my best friend. That's it. I don't have friends. So I'm a true loner. Um, but twice a year I try my best to like come and I stay in the house, literally. I try to come out the house at least 2 times a year. So that's been my goal for the past 2 years is to be able to come out that bubble. But when I am out, oh my God, I'll be like, Lord, when I'm gonna get back in. So I do understand that.
That's good. Yeah, it's kind of hard getting out of that bubble and then having to be around other people and just deal with a lot of other stuff. It's just I don't like talking about my problems too much, like because I feel like I got to rehearse them. And I don't like, I'm like, okay, I've already dealt with it in my head. I don't want to have to tell you again about it because then that may give me anxiety again. Like, that's going to make me start back thinking about it. And no, I don't, I'm sorry. I don't want to do that. Let me just go out and figure out how to handle it without exposing everybody else to it. Yeah, because energy
I
is
rehearse. I
transferable.
rehearse mine too. I rehearse mine too. Make sure I'm saying it, to where it's like, okay, you're not too crazy,
Mm-hmm.
or am I saying it correctly, or how are they gonna think of me if I say this? And I do that too.
Yes.
I do that
Trying
too.
not to say it the wrong way. And yeah, yep. I get that totally.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to rehearse, so in the moment, it doesn't come out anywhere near what I rehearsed. So that's why I stopped doing it. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna move on. I wanted to discuss another one of these and examples. I just in the one I really wanted to talk about and dig into real briefly is the faith meaning one. In reference to trusting a bigger purpose, letting go of control, finding meaning in challenges. The discussion just asks, how does your belief system or values help you handle stress? And for some, resilience is strengthened through faith, prayer, or trusting in a greater purpose. I just wanted to say this scripture because I feel like it resonates with all of us. Um, just in terms of things that we're going through, trying to handle school and just everything else. So Isaiah 40:31 talks about, but those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And this promises renewed strength through God's presence. So the reason why I wanted to just mention that is because for me, um it let me knew that I could be patient and wait on God. It let me knew that I don't have to control everything, that I can let it go and give it to God. So I just wanted to say for all of you, in reference to everything that we're going through and being resilient, that this is the scripture that you can take upon yourself and kind of recite or learn or just know that you don't have to run, you don't have to worry. You can walk in peace and patience and let God lead your way. So, did anybody want to have or anybody have any thoughts about that scripture before I move on?
I just want to say that's a really good scripture. And and I was thinking, and I didn't talk earlier, but I was like, God's my safe space because it's like I always come to Him when I'm like stressed or troubled, or, but also, other people too. And then I was thinking, my dog, I'm over here talking to him, but like all the time. But no, I'm also a loner, but no, definitely God, just learning to cast my anxieties on Him, in times of difficulty. So, my rock and my salvation.
Yes, most definitely. Okay. So as we go on, I'm gonna move. There was another activity that I'm gonna go past it because I think we kind of talked about a lot of it already. So I'm gonna move into building resilient skills. I just wanted to share how to strengthen resilience. And so, what better way than to have a case study that talks about how someone has overcame some obstacles in their life and was able to build on resilience. So, this is a story of Maria. She's 32 years old, single mother. She sought counseling after experiencing overwhelming anxiety, following a job loss. She reported feelings of failure, financial stress, difficulty managing daily responsibilities. And initially, she kind of engaged in negative self-talk, believing that she was incapable of providing stability for a child. She got into counseling, and in her counseling, they got involved with the CBT and person-centered principles. And at that point, she began to identify challenging these unhelpful thoughts. So she was also feeling supported in a non-judgmental environment. And I think I had just mentioned, kind of feeling judged. But over time, Maria developed resilience by practicing mindfulness techniques and reframing her thinking patterns. She set small, achievable goals, such as updating her resume, applying for new jobs each week, which increased her sense of control and confidence. She also leaned on her support system, including her family and local church community, and that helped her to feel belonging and have more hope. By the end of her counseling sessions, she demonstrated increased emotional regulation, she improved problem solving skills, and renewed belief in her ability to overcome challenges, which illustrated how resilience can be intentionally strengthened through supportive relationships and practical coping strategies. So I just wanted to share that, but I also wanted to see if any of you um, throughout this paragraph of listening to Maria's story, what things do you feel helped her to become resilient? Like, is there anything that resonates with you that's similar to Maria, or what do you see that really helped her overcome? Just a few examples from someone.
Being a mother, I would say being a mother make you a different type of strong for some women, not all. But I think that baby had a lot to do with her, the initial push.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one that would push anybody into wanting to just figure out how to make things right for their child. That's like a bigger purpose, having a bigger meaning. Is there anybody
I
else
also,
that saw? Go ahead, Alina.
Oh, I
oh,
thought.
sorry. No,
Oh
Elena,
well,
you
no,
go.
I was saying like relating because I don't think I've ever told y'all, but I am a single mom, so like even hearing it, like I get it why because I do overpile stuff on my plate, but it's like I keep going. So, but I also look at my kid and I'm like, no, like you're not like I'm gonna do it to where like we're good. So yeah, so that was what I was kind of looking at too.
Yeah, I also thought the part where it's like she leaned on her support system, so kind of the same thing you're saying, like her family and local church community, which helped her have like a sense of belonging and hope. I feel like that probably really helped too, having that support system in place and being able to rely on them. And especially what Elena said, like having her child and knowing like I'm doing this for her and try, and I feel like Taisha said that too. So just kind of seconding everything everyone's saying. I'm not wording that right, but
But even with that, Ansley, I like the fact that a support system does not have to be someone of your family. You can
mhm,
actually lean on your church community, or there
mhm,
could be some programs that someone is involved in their community that they can lean on because not everybody has a great family or a great family member that they can go to that they simply trust. I mean, you have so many people who just feel like, no, I don't want to deal with my family. So, but they lean other ways. And I think that's good, even if it's a best friend, like a family member that's even better to have, just long as you have something in somebody that gives you that hope and belongingness. That's really good. Okay, so I'm gonna move right along. So after talking about Maria, we noticed a lot of things that she has done to help her with becoming resilient, the reframing thoughts, being a CBT skill, and how it helps identify and change unhelpful and distorted thinking. I think that if you counseling alone is one of that can help you with reframing your thoughts and learning to reframe your thoughts. Positive affirmations is like another thing too. So when negative thoughts go unchallenged, they increase anxiety and avoidance. So that's what we're trying not to do. And the reason why we want to learn these skills is because we want to make sure that we are embracing and challenging those thoughts by telling ourselves different things that are positive instead of negative thinking or negative thoughts that have come over us. An example of that is, instead of I can't handle this, you can tell yourself, I've handled hard things before, this too shall pass. I got this, I can do this. Another example could be emotional regulation, where you do breathing and things of that nature before speaking. This is the skill. I think we practiced that in lesson 1, where we did some deep breathing exercises, and it kind of helped to resettle yourself back to, if you're just like upset, it'll bring you back down to baseline, and it slows your thoughts down. You could do the 5 4 3 2 1 method as well to kind of keep yourself down. I wanted to mention, because I was reading over this, and Taisha, you mentioned how using these skills was hard for you because you were in a setting with your daughter. Do you remember that you said that? Yeah, and you couldn't ground yourself. Is just that it was so hard? So, because one of the
My
questions was,
anxiety was really high. That's why.
yeah,
New
okay,
place, new people.
mm-hmm,
I couldn't. It
mm-hmm.
was nothing I can do.
So that was, I thought about you because I was like, the question was, how could, when is this the hardest to use? And then I thought about you because I was like, Taisha mentioned this and said, where she was at, just that around that area, yeah. So that's something that it could be hard when you're in a different area. That's why I say it's good to be somewhere where you can collect your thoughts. Um, and then we have the connection, using the social skills from last week. Again, is the social support skills, and pause before thinking, and that. And so I know we talked a lot about that already. So I'm going to go into also having a purpose and meaning. Um, this one, this one's hard for me. It's very hard for me, because I am one that truly is working on what my purpose is. And I feel like I have so many purposeful things in my life that I want to do to serve a purpose. And I can't figure out what the one is because I feel like I got so many. So it's like, what keeps you going? And it's so many things that do. But having a sense of purpose and a meaning plays a vital role in resilience by giving individuals a reason to keep moving forward during difficult times. And I'm gonna piggyback off of what all of you kind of said, such as with Maria, her having her child. Um, that was a reason for her to keep going and moving forward. Even during her difficult time of job loss, she had to figure out what she needed to do. So when people are connected to something greater than their immediate struggles, such as personal values, relationship goals, or faith, and children, they are more likely to persevere and maintain hope. So it helps to reframe your adversity as something that can be endured, even used for growth. Again, resilience is something that we learn to overcome, over time, with time. So, um, I just want to say, normally, well, the question I guess I want to ask is, which one of these skills do you feel like is easiest for you or hardest for you, just based upon the ones that we have already talked about? like I said, the purpose and meaning one was hard for me. Are there any ones that are hard for you that you feel like you're just having issues with and it's a barrier from you being resilient?
I guess I can go. Mine was using the I statements, but it's more so with my kid because I kind of like when she does something that's kind of a little, dangerous that you can see it that she's not even thinking about all this stuff. Like my first instinct is to yell and like tell her to stop. But then today, actually, I was like, I'm just yelling, like you don't even know why I'm getting at you. So then I was like, look, you keep doing that, and I feel scared because you're gonna fall. So then she kind of like stayed quiet, and she was like, oh, okay. But then usually she would give me like she won't listen, and she'll keep doing it until what I kept saying happens. But today, actually, when I was like, no, I get scared every time you do that because I know you're gonna fall. And that's when she actually stopped. So I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, the I statements, especially with my daughter, I think those are the hardest because as parents, I don't think we ever talk about like our feelings with the kids. It's just like, hey, like don't do this, don't do that. Like you're disciplining, but you're never really like humanizing yourself to them. And like so it's more like, oh, you're my mom. So lately she's been more like, did you used to feel like this, or did you used to do this, or like so. And she's little, she's 5. And so she was like, when you were little, did you feel like this? And I was like, yeah, I felt like that. I was scared too, or I was this. And then so she kind of like, oh, okay. So it's normalizing me as a parent and kind of humanizing myself too, because she sees me as like, oh, you're not scared. I was like, oh no, homegirl, I'm scared of everything. So like, yes, I'm scared all the time. So
That's good. It helped her to see that mommy is a hero, but mommy also can has feelings too, of being, having that fear of something happening, even just to her. So, she kind of that's like a learning situation for both of you. Did anybody else want to share? Okay. So, in this tonight's discussion, I was talking about focusing on promoting resilience, but I also wanted to focus on creating a anxiety management plan so that you all can use and have for yourself in terms of knowing how to um, manage your anxiety. So there is a certain thing as a my resilience toolkit, right? So what this is that you're going to kind of write down um, things that you identify with in terms of making you have this anxiety and how you can bring your anxiety back down once you start to feel that you have anxiety. So it's a little worksheet for yourself. You can do this at any time you feel like you're getting ready to have anxiety, where I would say write it down, but it'll be to a point where if you write it as much or you do it as much, you don't have to write it because it's just embedded in your head. Um, but the first thing you want to do is technically it would say write down 2 to 3 things. But the first thing you would want to do is identify your triggers. What situations or thoughts increase your anxiety? So you would want to write that down as being part of your toolkit. Your warning signs. What do you notice in your body or your thoughts when your anxiety starts? Is your heart racing? Is you're starting to have negative thinking? Are you spiraling? Are you beating yourself up? So those are all warning signs that you can start to recognize in your toolkit. Your coping strategies. Which skills will you use? Breathing exercises, mindfulness, social support, positive self-talk. I feel like yes, you can use all of these, but I feel like all of these are used at different times for different moments of whatever the situation is that you have anxiety, whatever has brought it upon. You can use these coping skills at different times for different situations. So that is another thing that you want to put in your toolkit. Your support system, which we've been talking about, of who you can reach out to, And your resilience statement is very important because it creates a statement just for you. I can handle this because, or I know God loved me because, or I'm beautiful. Just giving yourself those statements that you resonate with, that's going to help you bring yourself back to a calm manner and where you need to be to bring your anxiety down. So I'm going to ask that you guys take a few minutes and start writing this plan for yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just something that you can do to build over time. So again, we don't, that's something that it's an activity, but because we're online, that is something that you still can do to have your toolkit. But it's a toolkit because it's tools for you to use in times of you having an anxiety and just recognizing, hey, my anxiety is getting here. Let me figure out what I can do about it in this moment. So, um, going into the reflection part of this, I want to invite you all to just process these questions real quick and just kind of give me an example of what you feel. What is one coping strategy in your plan? What is your resilience statement? How does having a plan change how you feel about anxiety? And what part of this plan do you think you'll actually use this week? So if everybody can kind of just process those questions and just answer one of them for me, that would be helpful for us to move on into our closing.
I'll share. I guess one coping strategy that I, could put in my plan is the self-compassion. Um, I think I think it was you, Kamara, who said something like, when things start to go wrong, I like related to you because I very quickly, when things start to go wrong, I can very quickly convince myself that it's my fault somehow. That I'm the one who caused things to kind of fall apart because I didn't do this or because I did do this or whatever. And that starts to elevate my anxiety because then I start spiraling into like, how could I have done things differently? And, why do I make so many mistakes? It keeps going. So it's like the having that self-compassion to kind of stop and be like, you know what? Like, I am human. I'm going to make mistakes. And me making mistakes does not mean that I'm like a huge failure at everything. um, just that, sometimes things happen and that I have a good support system that can help me when, times get hard and that everybody goes through that. I'm not the only person who makes mistakes and deals with hard times. So again, just kind of telling myself those positive things for sure.
That's a very good one. Very good one, Amber. Is there anybody else?
I'll go next. So I know I talk about my job here all the time, but I was like, today is crazy that we're having this group. Like, it's just so ironic. Um, so this is the first time that I did stand up for myself towards my boss. And I went well, I would say ish. I think I handled myself well, and I don't know if she took it well, but I think I was like glad for the way I handled it. But it's kind of ironic that we're talking about this tonight because I had like major anxiety in the moment. Like I literally was like, my hands were sweating, like I was sweating so bad. And then I was like so nervous, like I thought I was gonna start crying, but I didn't pull it together, right? It ended up being fine. And I do think that I'm going to start looking for another job. But I am, doing the best I can. And then it's funny how anxiety like showed up for me in that moment, but then I was like proud of myself afterwards. But then when I got home, it like came back again because I was like, oh my gosh, like why did I do that? I'm gonna get fired, like all these things. But then I was able to like instill that resilience of, just talking to myself kindly of like, we're not put in a great situation. You handled it well, like you did the best you could, and it's okay to feel anxiety, like it's okay to feel stressed about it because it was a stressful moment, but to still like give myself grace. So that's what I tried to do. but it's just ironic that we talked about it today.
That's good. Your anxiety reminding me of good anxiety.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. I mean, we do
Yeah.
have good anxiety too at times that kind of helps us to be in a survival mode. So like you said,
Mhm.
you had to stand up for yourself. So you had to do what you had to do. So
Right.
and that alone brought confidence.
Mhm.
It was good anxiety,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay. All right. Does anybody else want to share? I'm just gonna move on. I know we're getting late. So, all right. So, um, thank you all for sharing those examples. So today you all took an important step, not just understanding anxiety, but also creating a plan to manage it. And from the discussions that we've had today and tonight, I can hear resilience in everybody. We're already doing the work. It's just that we're noticing that the work is being done now, and we're much more able to manage it because we know the skills that we're needing to use. So, um, the closing question was, what was one word that describes how you feel leaving today's session? I'm not going to have you guys go over that because we're already kind of over the time, but I'm going to ask that you all think about the one word that describes how you feel leaving today's session, and then just ask that it helps you to realize. And I'm glad a lot of you kind of already kind of stated how today's session has really helped you. Like you're glad that we even had the session. So that's very good within itself. But tonight's homework for this week is using your anxiety management plan in real life situation. Notice what works well and what you may be needing to adjust. Continue practicing one resilient skill daily, and just the skills that we've learned throughout the course, also continue to practice those as well. And I also want to leave you with a scripture, and that scripture is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, a reminder that true strength comes from Christ. So thank you all for your openness and participation. I'm so proud of the work that you all are doing because it's definitely showing. And for that matter, I will see you all next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.